These are football managers who speak multiple languages.
Progresso il suo gioco, soprattutto il suo gioco, il tipo di gioco che noi cerchiamo di fare.
Então acho que o talento que ele tem, se ele coloca também pouco mais de intensividade no jogo dele.
Wir haben vielmals gegen eine Super Bayern-Mannschaft gespielt oder gegen eine Super Barcelona-Mannschaft gespielt.
Now, I'm going to rank these managers in a simple tier list. There are 3 tiers: fluent, solid, and okay, based on how well they speak each language. Trust me, you'll want to see how this one ends. If you're a speaker of any of these languages, feel free to drop your own ratings in the comments. Carlo Ancelotti, calm, cool, collected, and multilingual. Ancelotti speaks Italian, English, French, Spanish, and German to some extent. 4 languages, 4 cultures, and a trophy cabinet to match.
Il primo patto a Londra è stato molto buono. Sono qui dal 3 luglio e sono passati 4 mesi e mi sto trovando molto bene. Molto bene perché c'è un'atmosfera leggermente diversa rispetto all'Italia, sotto il profilo sportivo, sicuramente meno pressione. Les produits sont très bien. Aussi les vins, les fromages, comme l'Italie.
On a beaucoup de points communs en fait.
Et tu organises quelquefois quelques dîners avec les joueurs, quelque chose.
Très rare.
Très rare.
Now, I'm not going to rate any of the managers' native language in this video, so let's start off by ranking Ancelotti's French. You can tell he manages simple conversations fine, talking about food, culture, and sharing small anecdotes. He gets his point across, and he keeps it quite basic. So for now, I will rank his French speaking in the okay tier. And what about his Spanish?
Mirando a los cambiamientos que el fútbol hace, que el fútbol ha hecho, que el fútbol está haciendo y que el fútbol va a hacer, teniendo en cuenta una cosa que para mí es la más importante, las características de los jugadores que tiene. Y punto. Es la cosa más importante en el fútbol. Tú puedes jugar un fútbol que tú tienes en la cabeza teniendo en cuenta lo que tiene enfrente. Yo no puedo ir a la presión arriba si tengo un jugador que es gordo, por ejemplo.
Well, he is clearly fluent in Spanish. Let's see his English.
And then the game was a little bit different. I think for 60 minutes the game was equalized. And then they shoot 2 fantastic free kick. Rice shoot 2 fantastic free kick. And the game at the time changed, of course. We were not able to react as we needed to react. And they score another goal. And now it will be very difficult, the second leg. The reaction, I think mentally we went down and we had problem the last 30 minutes of the game to try to have more efficiency in front.
With English, Ancelotti does really well. He handles the post-match analysis with detail and you never struggle to understand him. This one also goes in the fluent tier.
Ik voel me zeer goed, weil ich eine der beste Club in der Welt. Sicher, dass in der nächsten Monate mein Deutsch besser wird sein, aber ich denke, ist besser für alle. Beginnt mit Ihrer Frage in Englisch oder in Italien. Danke. Wir haben eine fantastische Mannschaft. Ich bin glücklich und wir versuchen in alle Wettbewerben.
Ancelotti himself said his German is at a beginner level, so we will give him an okay on the tier list. Still impressive for a 5th language. And then we have Clarence Seedorf. The legendary midfielder turned manager isn't just fluent on the pitch, he's fluent off it too. Seedorf speaks 6 languages: Dutch, English, Italian, Portuguese, Spanish, and Surinamese Creole, a language spoken in the country of Suriname.
Nee, ik ben nu regelmatiger in Nederland, gelukkig. Nadat ik ben gestopt met spelen heb ik natuurlijk ietsje meer tijd om mijn eigen agenda te maken. Dus dat vind ik wel leuk. Maar het is mijn basis. Ik heb kinderen die daar zijn geboren. Dus het heeft meer met hun te maken dat ik daar nog ben.
Seedorf had a stint at Real Madrid. Let's see his Spanish.
Clarence, de este partido mejor que tú casi nadie puede hablar, ¿no? ¿Qué impresión tienes ante este partido?
Bueno, es muy raro, ¿no? de estar aquí en el sentido con dos clubes donde he vivido muchas cosas importantes, muchas cosas bonitas, ¿no? Crecí en el Ajax, ganó la primera copa y después con Madrid todo lo que hemos vivido aquí, también con la séptima y la liga y tal, y muchos amigos.
Again, he's calm, clear and totally at ease. No effort, no hesitation. What about his Italian?
Diciamo, sacrificio è una parola che si usa, ma per dire compattezza, è una partita delicata, Roma è comunque una squadra pericolosa, però siamo stati bravi, specialmente nel secondo tempo, credo che abbiamo anche spinto qualche volta cercando il gol, è arrivato quasi, però sai, quando prendi quel punto che ti serve e l'ultimo fischio finale e l'esplosione della squadra, veramente una gioia immensa vedere gioire la squadra.
Again, in Italian he sounds very natural too. His flow is steady and you can tell he's been around Italian football long enough to feel at home in the language. How about his Portuguese?
Eu acho que ele tem muito talento, mas esses momentos não pode ser assim a descrição desse jogador. Ele, para mim, anda um pouco devagar dentro do campo. E com esse ritmo não vai dar na Europa. Então acho que o talento que ele tem, se ele coloca também um pouco mais de intensividade no jogo dele, com a visão de jogo que ele tem, com o talento que ele tem no pé, aí vai ser um jogador diferencial.
Wow, he's a genius. His Portuguese is impressive. He gave a detailed analysis of a player's style and development with so much ease. Lastly, here's his English.
Who's been the best player that you have played with?
I've answered that question without hesitation during my whole career. For me, Ronaldo, Brazilian Ronaldo, has been from a different species. Yeah. And that's because I've played against him when he was 18 in Holland, in Spain when we were 20, 21. And I played with him. And that's where you see the real stuff in training.
His English is fluent. No surprises here considering over 93% of Dutch people speak English. Roy Hodgson, known for his long career across Europe, he mastered a number of languages. Let's see his Italian.
Mister, lei oggi dovrà fare a meno di Stefano Caca in Pokal, ma questo giocatore che è venuto all'Italia come lo trova? Se sta giocando bene?
Sì, lui sta giocando bene adesso, ha preso un po' di tempo, è chiaro, perché lui viene in Inghilterra, è difficile per lui, è giovane. Ma secondo me lui ha fatto un grande progresso nel suo gioco, soprattutto il suo gioco, il tipo di gioco che noi cerchiamo di fare. È stato molto bene per lui e soprattutto per la società, che lui ha fatto un gol importante domenica passato per aiutare la sua squadra a vincere la partita.
Roy Hodgson's Italian is fluent, managing in Italy polished his Italian to near perfection. And how about his Swedish?
Liksom jag, han kom till en klubb och fann mycket duktiga fotbollsspelare i klubben när han kom. När du tänker idag hur otroligt svårt det är för ett skandinaviskt fotbollslag, svenskt lag, dansk, norskt lag att komma med i Champions League överhuvudtaget. Coming till in finalen var någonting helt otroligt.
Roy spent years coaching in Sweden and Denmark, and it shows. His Swedish is impressive. Again, fluent. This fluent tier is getting crowded, but don't worry guys, I'll do a final ranking at the end of the video.
Émotif pour moi, et de voir aussi l'équipe de France chante comme ils ont chanté avec une ferveur à ce moment-là. C'est vraiment difficile d'exprimer nos sentiments, parce que c'est une chose que nous avons pu faire, était de montrer notre solidarité, de montrer que nous Nous avons toute la sympathie possible.
His French is very solid. And what about his fifth language?
Bisher ist es eine Überraschung für mich, dass es gibt so viel Tor und so viel offenes Spiel und wenn es gibt so viel zu verlieren für alle Mannschaften. Und normalerweise in ein großes Turnier es ist ein bisschen enger das Spiel, aber hier wir sehen sehr attraktives Spiel.
Roy's German is solid, well-structured and entirely understandable in football discussions. Arsene Wenger is another true polyglot. He speaks French, German and English fluently. On top of that, he understands Spanish, Italian and even Japanese.
Il est vrai que si le fair play financier entre en règle, nous pouvons rivaliser avec tout le monde. Pour l'instant, les salaires des autres clubs avec lesquels nous luttons est de 2 à 3 fois supérieur aux nôtres. Donc c'est un peu une lutte inégale. Ja, das werden wir morgen versuchen. Im Moment haben sie den besten Rekord in Europa, deswegen sind sie vielleicht die überragendste Mannschaft in Europa im Moment, ja. Wir haben vielmals gegen eine Super Bayern-Mannschaft gespielt oder gegen eine Super Barcelona-Mannschaft gespielt. Uns hat speziell gegen Barcelona uns nicht viel gefehlt, aber die waren ein bisschen besser über die Jahre. Und wir haben auch ein Finale verloren, ein Halbfinale verloren. Wir waren nicht weit weg, aber wir haben auch immer gegen Supermannschaften verloren.
Wenger's German is clear and structured. He's very confident and easy to follow. Obviously fluent. What about his English?
I still kick every ball, you know, and I still look at the decisions made, and the bad decisions and the good decisions as well. So the tension is still there, but not the same. It's not comparable. I think if I was here every week, I would be much more tensed. But when I come back once at a time, I want as well to enjoy, to see friends, to have a good taste of the atmosphere here. I see it all positive.
Well, after spending over 22 years in England, his English is probably the strongest one on this tier list. Back in the mid-90s, when Wenger coached in Japan, he immersed himself in the language and culture, proving he wasn't just a football brain, he was a global thinker. No wonder he always seemed 2 steps ahead of everyone else.
Minasan arigato. Grampas sapoto no koto wa wasuimasen. Watashi wa itsuma demo Nagoya o aishite imasu.
What about his Japanese skills? Now, this is one of the few clips of Wenger speaking Japanese. He's reading here, so it's hard to judge his real level, but he clearly made the effort during his time in Japan. Due to the lack of footage of him speaking Japanese, I will put him in the OK tier. Now, let's rearrange the tier list properly. Wenger's English is first, then his German, then Seedorf's Italian, then Ancelotti's Spanish. Maybe Hodgson's Swedish comes next. I think Seedorf's Spanish follows. Ancelotti's English is next, then Seedorf's Portuguese, and then I think Hodgson's Italian. In the solid tier, I have Hodgson's French and German. Lastly, in the OK tier, I have Ancelotti's French and Wenger's Japanese. This was really tough, but I think this order makes sense. What do you guys think? Drop your own rankings in the comments. I'm curious to see who you think deserves the top spot. Click here to see Pep Guardiola, Jose Mourinho and Arteta speaking multiple languages. They are also ranked in a tier list.